The UN nuclear chief says there is no evidence of Russia moving to immediately restart the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, calling it as highly speculative. This after a report last month by Greenpeace alleged that the satellite photos showed Russia had been building an electricity high voltage power line in Russia-annexed areas of Ukraine. The European Union must prepare to shoulder the responsibility for peace in Ukraine. That's the message from the EU Defense Commissioner. Speaking at this conference at The Hague, he said diplomacy won't work because Putin does not want peace. He also warned that the US could reduce its support in future, leaving the EU to lead efforts to end the war. He has also called a shift in strategy from waiting for peace to creating it by bolstering Ukraine's defenses with stronger EU backing. The Ukrainian Security Service has claimed it has once again targeted strategic Kerch Bridge connecting Russia to Crimea, this time damaging the foundations in a covert seabed operation. According to the SBU, over 1,100 kgs of explosives were used in the strike, marking the third such attack on the bridge ever since the war began. They say the structure is now in an emergency state. Traffic was briefly halted, but since has resumed as no casualties were reported. Independent verification of the damages, however, still remain pending. Tensions are rising again in Gaza as Israeli forces face mounting scrutiny over a series of deadly incidents near aid distribution points. Palestinian health officials say at least 27 people were killed after Israeli troops allegedly opened fire near an aid site, marking the third such event in many days. The UN, however, has rejected Israel's new aid distribution system, saying it fails to meet urgent humanitarian needs and effectively turns food into a weapon. With both sides trading blame, humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to deepen. A United Nations spokesperson has strongly condemned the ongoing violence near humanitarian aid sites in Gaza, calling the deadly attacks on civilians as unconscionable. Speaking at a press briefing in Geneva, Jeremy Lawrence of the UN Human Rights Office warned that blocking access to food and vital aid may constitute a war crime. This comes at least 27 people were reportedly killed near an aid distribution point. Trade and finance ministers from 38 OECD countries are meeting in Paris this week for a two-day summit focused on cooperation, resilience, and inclusiveness in global trade. Opening the ministerial talks, Costa Rican Trade Minister urged unity in the face of mounting global challenges, from geopolitical tensions and climate change to the fallout from Russia's war in Ukraine. More than 1,800 people were arrested in a major crackdown on scam networks across Asia. Police in Hong Kong said they carried out a joint operation involving authorities from 7 jurisdictions, including South Korea, Thailand, Singapore, Macau, Malaysia, and Maldives. It has targeted online shopping scams, telephone frauds, investment and employment cons, freezing nearly 33,000 accounts and intercepting around $20 million in fraudulent funds. A long-standing water treaty between US and Mexico under pressure as climate change and politics collide at the border. Tensions are rising around the Amistad Reservoir, which supplies water to both nations, now facing critically low levels. Residents in Mexico's Ciudad have been watching their water disappear as demands from the US have forced Mexico to release massive volumes, sparking protest and fears of a full-blown water crisis. 3 British nationals are facing death penalty in Indonesia after being charged with smuggling nearly a kg of cocaine into Bali. Prosecutors say the suspects attempted to bring the drugs into the country disguised as desert sachets, and the court had heard they had successfully smuggled cocaine into Bali on 2 previous occasions before being caught in February. The 3 of them are now being tried separately, with the next hearing scheduled for the 10th of June.